This is Mr. Martin. These are video notes for Pre-Calculus Advanced. We're in Unit 7, Section 7.3, and we're talking about identities. We've got a lot of examples in this packet. The more examples and the more practice problems you can do, the better you will become at this. Using identities is a skill that you need a lot of practice with. So example 8, we want to establish this identity. And again, I mentioned in a previous video that normally I'll start with the more complicated side and try and work with it until it equals the other side. So in this case, again, we would be starting with the left side. And since I have a couple of fractions here, a very common technique is to either add or subtract those fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and add these fractions. Remember, we like to this is our little shortcut for finding a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply up and to the left. So I've got sine theta times 1 minus sine theta. And since this is a subtraction problem, I have minus, and then I'll multiply up and to the right. Cosine theta times cosine theta is cosine squared theta. And then I multiply my denominators. So I've got cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta. Alright, so now I've got to start doing some simplifying. I'm going to go ahead and factor distribute on the numerator. So sine theta times 1 is sine theta. And sine theta times negative sine theta is minus sine squared theta minus cosine squared theta all over cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta. So if you're wondering why I haven't distributed in the denominator, I'm not sure that I'm going to need to yet, so I'm going to hold off, because sometimes I'll get a factor of one of these factors on the top and I can cancel those. So I'm going to go ahead and still do that later. Now in my numerator, I say I have a sine squared and a cosine squared, and I know if these were added, that would be my Pythagorean identity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor a negative 1 out of both of those. So I have sine theta minus 1 times sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta. And then again, it's all over cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta. Alright, and now I know that sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta is 1. So in my numerator now, I have sine theta minus 1, because I have negative 1 times 1, over cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta. Alright, we'll continue up over here. Now these two, they look similar. This numerator part here and my denominator part there. So I'm going to take this numerator and flip it around. So I have minus 1 plus sine theta. This is just a little algebra manipulation here. Over cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta. Then I'm going to factor a negative 1 out of each term in the numerator. So I have negative 1 times 1 minus sine theta. So you can probably see what I'm going after right now. Over cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta. And since I factored that negative 1 out, these two terms are going to cancel. So I'm left with negative 1 over cosine theta, which is reciprocal of secant theta. Don't forget the negative, which is equal to negative secant theta, which is what I was trying to make it equal to over here. Alright, so that's a pretty tricky problem with some neat algebra manipulation in there, factoring a negative 1 out at this point, flipping these around and factoring a negative 1 out so that those matched over there. But these are some common things that you need to be looking for. And again, until you do a lot of problems, you're going to struggle with these. So it's okay to struggle and feel frustrated, but you can't quit on trying to learn how to do these. Make sure you get help when you need it. And we will see you in the next example.